or you can put the camera off while you talk or something.
All right, we're on, we're live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tell 72 Bragging. My name is Greg Newton. I am the co-founder of the Bureau of General Services Queer Division with my partner, Donnie Jokum, who's in the other room relaxing because he does Zoom calls all fucking week long for his day job that feeds us. So cut him a little slack. I do. What did I want to say? I want to say that our store is still the physical store is closed, but we are still doing these online events. And I wanted to say that we are partnering with the Reclaim Pride Coalition. Oh, Heather's here. Hi, Heather. Do you all know the Reclaim Pride Coalition? The Queer Liberation March started 2 years ago with Stonewall 50 as a way to have a pride march that didn't have any corporations or politicians or police. So we're happy about that. We're doing some panel discussions with them, so please check out our events page. And they've also given us some book recommendations. So I'm going to share the computer screen with you. All right. So we are now at bgsqd.com/store. And boom, look at that. Reclaim Pride Coalition recommends. So you can click on books by category. You can see Reclaim Pride Coalition recommends. You can also see Publishing Triangle finalists. We're doing 2 readings with them in May for 2 nights of readings with finalists and Lambda Literary Award finalists. And if you keep scrolling, you'll see books for upcoming events. Next Sunday, we have Kyle Lukoff, one of our favorite people we've met through doing this bureau. They've written a middle school age novel. They usually do kids books, a lot of great trans kids books, but they've done a middle school book. So anyway, there's the store. In your free time, you should go back and check it out. And like I said, Reclaim Pride Coalition did a section of recommended books, and we have 4 more upcoming events with them. So please check that out. So that's it from me. I'm now going to hand over the virtual stage and microphone to our host, Drae Campbell, the one, the only. Give it up.
Woo! Yeah.
You can unmute when you clap too.
Oh, unmuted claps.
Woohoo! Yeah!
Hey, thank you. Thank you. Woo woo. Oh, look at Becca Blackwell's screen. Just their dog Horsey is there. Hi, Horsey. Yes, boy toy. Okay. So welcome to Tell. My name is Drae. My pronouns are she and her. And Tell is a monthly queer storytelling show. If you haven't seen or been here before, each month we have a different theme. Oh, so many themes we've had literally over the years. We've been doing it. I've been doing it for 7 years. Some of the themes have been winning, without a net. What are the Greg? I always forget.
I know. Death.
Sex, friendship, death.
Pets. Didn't we do pets?
Pets, and I brought Memphis, my dog.
Memphis made an appearance at the store.
We did school.
Memphis is making an appearance sleeping right now. Memphis, say hi.
Oh, poor Memphis. Stop bothering me.
I'm so tired of your stories. And they have had enough. I was just saying earlier, one of my little bragging things is my friend gave me this unicorn activity book. And I highly recommend it. You can find this at a local dollar store, most likely. I don't know why it's trying to make me do math somewhere in the middle of it. I'm like, I just need you for coloring your unicorn book, but here to brag about it. Here to show it to you. I also want to, I don't want to get too big for my britches here, but I'm going to show you a couple drawings that I've done over the pandemic. Like I said, I don't want to brag too much, but this is bragging. So this is a portrait of Yoda that I did just freehand, you guys. So I just did that. Like I was watching Star Wars and I was like, you know what? I don't even need to look. I am going to draw this. And I think like some of the subtle lines here really captured Yoda, I think. I don't know why I have been watching The Sopranos. Maybe, I don't know why. I think I'm like being masochistic or something. I decided to draw Tony Soprano. It's like a spring vibe, you know? Got the same green as Yoda. Yeah, that's Tony Soprano. Also freehand. So that's like my biggest brag lately. But I also, you know, very excited for this lineup. Not to brag again, I put this together. And I want to encourage you folks, and this goes out to everyone, to brag about something in shorthand in the chat for everyone to see. Just one little thing that you want to brag about, put it in the chat for everyone to see. If you think of it, no pressure. You know, you could talk about anything. The size of your car, how shiny your glasses are, you know. I also want to acknowledge that it's been a very difficult week. I mean, it's been a very difficult several years, and we've gone through some of these very difficult weeks, and this has been a really hard one. It's been especially terrible. So I just want to, there are an endless amount of names of people who have been murdered by the police. I want to say two of them that we're currently mourning. Adam Toledo and Dante Wright, murdered by the police. And take just a moment of silence to think of them and send a prayer out to their family and friends and community, and to Black people who are struggling with this grief in general and this terrorism of white supremacy. So let's just take a moment for that. And one other thing I want to add to that, if you're able, let's take a moment to scream into a pillow that we have nearby, if you're able to. On a count of 3, you can scream also if you're able without disturbing your neighbors, scream out into the world. We'll just all do that on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. And take a breath. So I don't know about you, I'm feeling a lot of rage. And I don't always know what to do with it, but I think that may help. I hope it helps. And let's move on with the show. I'm really good at segues, if you haven't noticed. But I am very excited for this lineup. It's a beautiful group of people, amazing group of people. Becca's work I know very well. Calvin and Nonye, I looked up some of your videos and I'm very excited. So I'm just gonna read your little bio, Calvin, before we start. Hold on. Calvin S. Cato has performed all across the US and has even crossed the border into Canada. His television appearances include The Game Show Network, The Game Show Network, everybody. Oxygen, My Crazy Love, National Geographic's Brain Games, and an unaired pilot for Vice Media called Emergency Black Meeting. His work has been featured in numerous festivals, including San Francisco Sketchfest, Brooklyn Pride, Austin's Out of Bounds Comedy Festival, Gotham Storytelling Festival, and the Women in Comedy Festival. In addition, you may have heard him on Sirius XM or on the popular podcast Risk. Oh, I love Risk. Las Culturistas and Keith and the Girl. In 2017, Calvin was named one of Time Out New York's queer comics of color to watch out for. Please give it up, everyone, for Calvin S. Cato.
Yeah!
Woo! Thank you so much. This is such a nice intro. I'm always like, who is that person? It's not me. I'm the person who buys way too many kimonos and then puts them out in public for people to see on YouTube. So there we go. So speaking of the Game Show Network, this is actually a brag about being on the Game Show Network that will quickly turn into a humble sad, if you will. So to begin, I'm going to have to take you guys back to 2006. You know, it was a much simpler time back then, you know. It was so great. You know, Destiny's Child was still together. The Nintendo Wii just came out. White people didn't know what twerking was. It was like a very simple time, super fun. We were really laid back. We didn't need a bunch of white opinions. It was wonderful. So it was 2006. I had just graduated from college with a degree in English and a short story collection that was going to be published by Random House. And Random House didn't know about this plan yet, but I knew, and I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get them on board with this plan. They're going to love this short story collection. Spoiler alert, I sent it to Random House and they did not respond. So I was like, you know what, that's cool. I'm going to still send it to a couple other places because, I mean, I'm pretty sure this is good. I mean, I definitely paid a lot in student loans to have an advisor tell me that this was very publish worthy. So I sent it to various other places and lo and behold, it just got rejected. And so I was like, okay, well then I'm going to have to get a job. So unfortunately, I'm sure as many of you remember in 2006, that was when we had George W. Bush as president. So we were kind of like getting right into the recession. Bush the lesser, if you will, or really Bush the least, let's be honest. So I'm like trying to look for jobs. It's a rough market. Nothing's really out there. And so my friend suggested I go to this temp agency and try to find work there. And so I work with this really wonderful temp agency. I would tell you the name, but some of you on this Zoom are from New York and I don't need you poaching my jobs. So let's just say we'll call it Star Power 555. So I work with Star Power 555 and they hooked me up with this really great job where I'm working for Latina Magazine. And I'm working as their like research assistant to help them put together articles. And it's like really great, really wonderful stuff. I'm making $15 an hour, which 15 an hour, that's really good. Okay, that's like 2 boxed wines an hour. Like I'm doing really, really good for myself. Like I'm getting some good Franzia. Do you know what I mean? Killing it. So I'm doing this job. It's going really well. And I'm working under the assumption that I'm going to get hired. And unfortunately, as all temp jobs are, they end. And the Star Power 555 place says that it's really hard right now to find good editorial work. So we suggest that you try to like branch out to other places. Now, a person who I'm going to call a friend decided to suggest this other agency. And she was like, this place will get you very good work very quickly. So this agency I'll call Forest Solutions because that is its real name and none of you should use them. So Forest Solutions, terrible place. I go there and I meet with this woman who I'll call Karen because she was very Karen energy. And I meet with this Karen and I give Karen my resume and Karen goes, okay, you know, I'm really excited. What school did you go to? And I said, oh, here's where I went. And she goes, okay, cool. And you want to do English, right? You want to be in the publishing realm. And I said, yes. And she was like, okay, well, what were you making an hour? And I was like, oh, I made $15 an hour at my last job. So I'm hoping I can make something commensurate to that. And she goes, okay, well, let me look through my files. And she looks through her files and she goes, oh, okay, so I found this job that's going to give you $11 an hour. And here's the thing. I know I was an English major, but I know math, and I know that 11 is less than 15. So I said, hey, I'm not trying to be rude, but I had asked for a $15 an hour job. Why are you saying $11 an hour? And then she snaps and she goes, you should be lucky that I can even find a job for you in this economy. I don't understand why you think that you are so deserving of this $15 an hour job. And I was like, whoa, sis, like, it's not that serious. I just am laying out goals and this is what I wanted. But I was too tired to fully argue with her. So I said, okay, I'll take this $11 an hour job. And so what this job was I was in the back room in a mail room, and my job was to stuff envelopes for $11 an hour, that's a bad exchange rate. That's like at best 340s an hour. I don't want to work for 340s. I want to work for 2 box wines an hour. And so I do this job. It's a horrible day. It's very depressing, a lot of paper cuts. And I finish, and at the end of the day, they're like, oh, we don't need you anymore. And so I was like, well, that sucks, but at least I'm free. And so I leave, and as on my way home, I get a call from Karen, and Karen says, okay, I heard back and the job really liked you. They thought you were really great, which, I mean, it's stuffing envelopes. I'm not going to fuck that up. But she was like, no, you were so good at this job. So I apologize. I know that 11 was a little low. I found you another job for $12 an hour. And again, I'm an English major, but I know math. 12, still not 15. We're missing $3. But I was like, I'll take this job anyway. We'll see how this is. And so this job, I was still in a back room, but I was in a back room of a bank. And what was happening is that they were being audited. So I had to help sort and alphabetize all of their tax documents. And I wish I could tell you the name of the bank, but the bank has gone under and I've never heard anything from them again. So they clearly did not survive their audit. But I'm in this back room of the bank. I'm just, filing these things, $12 an hour. It's a very depressing scene. There's no windows. And I'm just like, I don't understand like how this is happening. And I'm commiserating with some of my college friends who are also in the same boat where they both also had like kind of dreams to work in an entertainment / publishing field, and it's like not working out for them. So one of my friends who I was talking with a lot, his name was Stuart. And so Stuart like really wanted to do filmmaking, specifically documentary filmmaking. That was mainly what he wanted to do. And he also had like a pretty crappy office temp job. And then there was my other friend, Jason, and Jason wanted to be a stand-up comedian. And Jason's job was he was working on this show on MTV called MTV's Yo Mama. I don't know if you remember this. In case you guys are not familiar with Yo Mama jokes are the kind of things where it's like, Yo Mama's so blank that blah, 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 blah. So he worked on MTV's Yo Mama, not as one of the contestants, but so you know how like when you would say Yo Mama joke, you'd be like, Yo Mama's so blank that da 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 da, and then you'd hear someone in the background go, oh, that was his job, was to go, oh, at the end of every insult. It was not a good job, needless to say. So we are all always commiserating in these depressed things. But Jason had this like connection with these casting calls and these casting agencies. And so every once in a while he would shoot us things where he's like, oh, maybe you could audition for this. Maybe you can audition for that. And then he sent me an audition where he was like, okay, we should apply to get on this game show. It's going to be super exciting. Apparently they're restarting it this season. And I love game shows. Like I absolutely like if there is a white man giving trivia, I'm about it. Like I RIP Alex Trebek. I still watch Jeopardy. I watch Classic Concentration. That's how like real it is for me. Like I watch every single game show. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this. We're going to audition. I'm going to live my dream. And so we go in and we go to the audition. And so we meet with the casting director, all three of us. And the casting director starts off by being pretty bored of us in general until she asks, oh, how did the three of you meet? And that's where I say, oh, we met at a naked party, which is not untrue. We did go to a naked party together one time because I went to a very hippie college, Wesleyan. It's in Connecticut, a lot of white kids with dreadlocks, that sort of thing. And so like every semester there would be a naked party. that it was like not like an orgy. Just to be very clear, not an orgy. You would literally just go there, you would be naked, they would hire a naked band, and you just hang around and dance, but like, you know, with like 6 feet, like you dance with the Holy Ghost between you and the next person. And so we did this party, super duper fun. And once I said, oh, we met at a naked party, the casting director goes, oh, and I see her writing something down. And I was like, yes, we're in, we did it. And so a week later, we hear back, and lo and behold, the casting director said, yes, you're on the show, you're cast on the show. This is your date. This is when you're going to tape it. And so I get a really big head because I'm like, I'm going to be on TV. This is going to be my TV gig, you know? Yeah. Everyone's going to bow down. And like, I thought I was like Betty White, you know what I mean? Like, because I was like, Betty White does game shows and I can do game shows. Meanwhile, Betty White was on like Password as like a featured contestant. And I am literally just someone with a cheap cardboard name tag. Didn't matter. I was like, I got this shit. And so what we would do is, because we wanted to win the money on the show, we would go to our jobs, and then after work, we would meet at like one of our places, and we would have VHS tapes. I don't know if you remember that technology. We literally taped every single episode of Chain Reaction that had aired previously, and we would quiz each other on that show because we were like, if we're gonna go in, we're gonna go in and win this money. I thankfully have thrown out those VHS tapes because it was a lot of magnetic strip wasted on Chain Reaction, studying the show, learning the ins and outs, seeing how it's going to work. But needless to say, this is what we did. We studied it. We did all of that. And then it was the day before we were going to go in for the taping. And the day before the taping, I do no work at the job. I literally come in and I just sit in this back room and I do nothing. And my point person comes in and she goes, are you going to do work today? And I said, no, because I'm going to be on television tomorrow, so I don't really care. And she goes, excuse me? And I was like, yeah, no, you heard me. I don't feel the need to work anymore because I'm going to be on television and this job sucks. And she goes, okay, well, I'm going to call Karen and I'm going to see what she says about that. So she calls Karen and then puts me on the phone with Karen. And Karen says, well, what are you doing? And I said, oh, yeah, no, I don't feel the need to work. You know, in fact, I'm probably not going to show up tomorrow because I don't need this job anymore. And Karen has a full Karen meltdown. She was like, what do you think you're doing? You'll never work in this town again. Who do you think you are? And I was like, I think I'm someone who asked for $15 a fucking hour. And instead, I'm here making $12 an hour. So no, I don't really need to work here anymore. And so she says, well, are you at least going to finish at the end of the day? And I was like, yeah, I can sit here till the end of the day. I'm not going to do any work, but I'll sit here. And she goes, okay, fine. And so I sit there at the end of the day. I quit. And the next day, I put on my best blazer and my nicest polo shirt, and I go to do the show. And I go into the studio. And this is one of the things where I first realized, oh, I'm a little disillusioned. Because I don't know if you know the behind the scenes of game shows, but they tape 5 or 6 of them in a day. So I thought I was going to get real like special treatment. And you're really just on an assembly line of like, okay, we're going to put you on between 12. We're going to tape between 12 and 1. In the meantime, you're just going to sit here and hang out with these PAs who are maybe going to give you some Pellegrino if you're lucky. And so that's what I do is I sit there, but I'm still excited because I'm still going to be on television. Still going to do this. And so we sit around, we wait, we talk to the PAs. The PAs tell us horror stories about reality shows that they've worked on. One person had worked on, it was like one of the early Bachelor shows, but not like The Bachelor. It was like a Rock of Love clone. I don't know if you guys remember Rock of Love. Oh boy, that was not good for misogyny. Yikes. So told you all these horrible Rock of Love stories. And then we get to the stage and we meet the host, Dylan Lane, who was very nice, if not incredibly bland. We shake Dylan Lane's hand, and then he sets us up at our podiums. And the theme of the show is guys versus girls. So it's me, Jason, and Stuart, and then these 3 girls on the other side. And then like the lights come on and you see the studio audience. And I'm like, and they're clapping, and I'm like, oh my God, this is for me, you know, like ignoring the fact that there's an applause sign, but I was like, this is mine, you know, so excited. And so we get on, and then it gets to round 1, and we sweep the entire round. The girls get $0. We clean the entire board out of questions. And in case you guys don't know how chain reaction works, basically, so you get the first word and then the first letter of the second word, and you have to guess it that way. So if it's chain R, chain reaction, reaction T, reaction time. We did all of that in a row in like one sitting, basically. So we win all the money, and then we get a bonus round, and we completely sweep the bonus round. We win the extra points there. Then it gets to round 2. We get everything in round 2. Girls still get nothing. We get to the bonus round. We win everything in the bonus round. And then it gets to round 3. And round 3, you have to bet points. We win all of round 3. The girls ended up with $0. And so they basically were disqualified. So we moved on to the final round. I was like, oh my God, we won this shit. This is going to be so great. We're going to get to the final round. And the final round is you play for an extra $5,000. And I was like, okay, this is the moment we've been training for. We got this. So we get to the final round. I'm in the hot seat. I have to guess the questions, and Jason and Stuart have to give me clues to help me guess what the answers are. I get enough right so that we win the extra $5,000. Amazing! Like, all my dreams are coming true. It's going to be hot in Calland. You know, I was so into it. And then the lights go dim, and it gets to the point where we have to sign the contract. And as I'm signing the contract, I'm like, oh, so like, where's the check? And that's when the producers go, oh, you don't understand how game shows work, do you? So you see, you don't get paid until 6 months after the show airs. So if the show airs tomorrow, I get paid in 6 months. Or the show might air in a year and I'll get paid in a year and 6 months. This poses a problem because I basically just quit a job to now have no money for possibly a year and a half. Oh dear. So the next day, I call up Karen and I say, hey girl, you know, I feel like I was a little out of line yesterday, you know, with the whole go fuck yourself thing. Might not have been the best choice of words. So I was just wondering if you may have a job for me, or if maybe I could go back to that bank. And I still remember she verbatim said, how about we'll call you, and just hung up on me. Needless to say, did not go back to Forest Solutions ever again for work. However, I did hear back from the Good Temp agency, who then set me up with a really great job working at this art gallery. And I got to work at this art gallery and do like research stuff for them and help them write press releases. And then I still remember I actually wrote down the day that the show was going to air. And so I went to a bar to watch the show air. And I remember asking the bartender, can you just change the channel to this? And I got to watch myself. And the bartender was like, wow, that's amazing that you won. How does it feel to have like won the show? And I literally told him, I feel like I should never quit my day job. And that's my story. Thank you guys so much.
Woo! Claps be heard, everybody. Calvin. So many questions, so many responses. Somebody worked at Forest Solutions. A few people, I think.
Yes. One of the people who I know here, I think she actually may know who gave you the number for Forest Solutions. Hi, Mindy. It wasn't you.
Hey, Mind.
But you probably know who gave you the number.
Oh my goodness. I auditioned for Yo Mama. And I have like a piece of paper with all the jokes that I wrote, because I kind of thought like, oh, it's just a comedy writing job. This is a way to get in. And they are so deeply offensive because that was the show, was insulting people based on the worst, like it was, and it was Wilmer Valderrama. It was his show from that 70s show. And I was starting to like, they liked me. I don't know why. I think they were just like, why is this person saying Your Mama jokes? And I started to panic that I might get on this weird show that was so mean. I was like, oh no, Like I just kind of just went on this audition because somebody told me to, or I sent them jokes or something like, oh, it's a TV gig. Thank goodness I never ended up or you.
You dodged a bullet, trust me.
We dodged bullets. But did you get your money for Chain Reaction?
I did, yes. Thankfully, it aired sooner than I thought. So I got paid very well, and I was super happy about it.
Congratulations. That's actually amazing. Woo, Chain Reaction. Now, is there a way for us to find it? Like, is it out there?
It's out there. I just don't want to talk about it anymore.
Never again. We've forgotten already. Anyway, give it up. That was an amazing, hilarious, on the edge of my seat, 2 boxes of wine story. So many hilarious lines. Seriously, I wrote them down. Oh gosh. Yay, Calvin. All right.
Thank you.
Is our next storyteller ready? Yeah. Okay, Boy Toy. I'm gonna read. Is that what it says, Boy Toy, on your hat? I'm 108. What does it say on your hat, Sonny? Becca and I are always old men yelling at clouds. That's kind of our pronoun.
Yeah.
I'm going to just read your little bio.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, Becca has a really adorable picture with their dog, Horsey. All right. Becca Blackwell is an NYC-based trans actor, performer, and writer. Existing between genders and preferring the pronoun they, Blackwell works collaboratively with playwrights and directors to expand our sense of personhood and the body through performance. Some of their collaborations have been with Young Jean Lee, Half Straddle, Jennifer Miller's Circus Amok, Richard Maxwell, Aaron Markey, Sharon Hayes, Theater for the Two-Headed Calf, and Lisa D'Amour. Film and TV, High Maintenance, Rami, Marriage Story, Shameless, Dead Man's Barstool, and Jack in the Box. They've toured their solo shows, They Themselves and Schmirm, and Schmirmy's Choice. Schmirmy's Choice across the US. Blackwell was a recipient of the Doris Duke Impact Artist Award, the Franklin Furnace Award, and the Creative Capital Award. Very excited to have you here. Yay, give it up for Becca Blackwell.
Thank you. I guess my bio is my brag. So thank you, everyone. It was a pleasure to do this for you. I just had my friend read my bio, and now that I look like a straight white man, that's the work. Okay. I love the silence. So I was like, when Drae asked me to do this, thank you. My roots are in old lesbian, so I'm always insecure. So when Drae asked me to do this, I thought it was a setup, because I was like, why are you making a white man talk about bragging? I was scared. I'm always scared. This is a brag. I'm terrified of performing. I've been doing it for 30 years, and I still want to, like, if you were here with me right now, you could hear how clammy my hands are. And I'm by myself. So, another brag. So I was just worried, like, what can I brag about? You know, I can have Drae read my bio. That was the first step. That'll be good. And I'll let you in on a secret. Hire people to write your grants, because if you write them, you'll never get it. But if you have other people write them, you get them. Because I've been writing my own grants like an idiot for like 15 years. And then I hired my friend Morgan, who wrote grants for Young Jean Lee. I'm not going to give you her last name because then you'll all call her. Anyway, that's the other step. Also, my humble brag was when I wrote that bio, that was when they was new. So I feel like I gotta cut that out. Like, I'm some old person that's totally like, I have an idea. I'll do what the kids are doing and call myself they. Here's a humble brag. I had a woman come up to me recently and go, so why did you pick Becca? like I was some sort of like straight cis guy that was like, I'm not gonna let those queers get a fancy on me. I'll keep this mustache and I'll go by they and I'll call myself Becca. That's my only way in. We're not sharing names tonight. Are there any questions so far? I like to be more of an interactive performance artist. Yes? No, everyone's like, no. So I really was thinking, like, what could I brag about? I could brag about over this last year, I was able to deeply get into my Qigong practice, which basically made me realize that I guess really following a Taoist philosophy of life means that I got to leave New York and leave performance artists. And then I had enough friends that were just like, don't do that. And so then I was like, yeah, you're right. Who needs spirituality? I'll stay in New York. So that was a brag of a circle that I almost got out. And I was like, what else can I brag about? I was looking around my room. I have 2 of my wisdom teeth. They keep me smart. I stole them when I was high off of the tray when they pulled them out. I was like, what else? Oh yeah, I mean, my ex wanted a dog, and now I take care of it. I mean, that's a brag. I'm like, what else could I brag about? And then I was like, I know what I'll brag about. I got the sweetest looking pussy that you ever seen on a fucking top. And I was just like, that's the most honest and deep thing that I could think about bragging. And this pussy been with me since day one. I mean, she started out tiny. She started out tiny. She was adopted. I took her from someone else. No, I'm just kidding. I like to give my body my story. Could you imagine this, like, me just walking around like, I don't know what genitals to have. I know. I'll adopt a genital because there are all these genitals needing homes. I'm the genital missionary. I'm actually going out in the streets and I'm like, where do these genitals need to live? There's genitals on the street. They're laying around. There's genitals that don't agree with their person. Help. So trigger warning, I'm going to be talking about junk all night. Let's see, when did I start? 3 minutes ago. We'll just wrap this up in 7 to 8 minutes, right? 7 to 15 minutes. Anyway, bragging. I was gonna brag about all the terrible things that happened to me in my childhood because I feel like there's like oppression porn that everyone gets off of, but I've done that on all my solo shows, so I'm like boring. So my brag is my pussy. I didn't know I had such a good pussy. I did experience sexual abuse, so other people probably knew when I was a child, but I just was detached from that. And as I got older and I decided, because it was the 90s, I was like, I'm a dyke. So then people were interested in my pussy. When I had sex with penis people, they were kind of like, it didn't matter. But they were more like, oh my God, you really are a redhead. That's a lot of the comment I got about that. Apparently people have not seen a real fire crotch, and it's something I see every day. So to me, it wasn't this like unique experience, but every time I dropped trowel, everyone was like, holy shit, like you're wow, it's like a super red. So the entranceway for her already was a brag. She's already got like, this like kind of like orange shaggy carpet kind of already like wipe your feet and come in. So that's kind of her setup. But I started trying to do sex work, but I was terrible at it because, again, I wanted to be like, pussy, but that's actually not how you eat someone out. But I wasn't good at humble brag. I don't even know how to do it. Everyone's like, where's the story going? I'm just trying to follow linearly. There is no linear. Why? Because I have a 3-foot bong right next to me. Humble brag. I used to sell weed, but now it's free, so don't do that anymore. Took a real hit in my finances, but everyone now doesn't get arrested, and that to me is more important. Also, just call your friends in California and have them send it to you, because it's even cheaper than getting it here. Although New York State needs money, so humble brag, go buy from your local storefront. We need our taxes to go down. Anyway, again, back to pussy. Does anyone have any comments? Any questions? Literally, no one needs linear. Yes, you're right. No one needs linear. Who needs it? It's a construct, just like gender. Like, you know what I mean? And just like all the genitals that are on the streets that need homes. So my pussy, being this cutie, this little orange cutie, I didn't know. I used to trim it down because I kind of like, that's how I was raised. It was the 90s. The porn I watched that was the 70s and 80s porn, because that was like what my formative years were. We back in the day, we had a cable box. I don't know if you guys are old enough or remember these, but there was like a box and had a wire that went to the back of the TV, and there was 10 numbers, 1 through 10, and then T, C, and P, and they stood for television, cable, and pay-per-view. And like C7 was like MTV, and I think like C3 was Nickelodeon, but P10 was the X-rated, you know, this stuff. Because it's like that porn was just like, it was really like, I just even remember as a child being like, ooh, doesn't sound fun, but I'll jerk off and hunt my animal. That's how I jerked off. The first time I masturbated, I was 5, and I used can you tell this is really me bragging? I can't believe about my own sexual history. The first time I jerked off was by accident. I had a Luke Skywalker doll that was kind of similar to like a Ken doll, but it was just like a Luke Skywalker doll with a different wig on, and just kind of the same like mound like thing. But his knee would bend, and I was reaching over to grab Garfield, who fell off my bed. It was a very particular story that was happening, and I reached over and I hit the knee, and the knee hit, my little girl. I guess I didn't know what to call her back then. She was Pearl. I don't know. She's she was just in the oyster making herself. And I reached over and rubbed up on that, and that's when I was like, what? And I couldn't stop. Like, I was kind of holding on to Garfield down there, and then half my body was on the bed on Luke's knee, and I was just like, well, I'm never leaving my room. So, then I moved on to other weird shit, like scalding hot water pressure just on my junk, when you're a kid. That's just from being scarred as a child, but kind of sometimes it's fun. Or like pools, you stand next to them at the pool, and they're just like, like that. But then you're like basically giving yourself a weird like douche, like a pool douche, and that I wouldn't recommend. So anyway, humble brag, back to my snatch. Moving forward from 5-year-old snatch, now we're into like older teen. I'm now a lesbian snatch, and it's being trimmed down. And I remember trying to do a heart once, but my pussy hair is like kind of crazy, so it just looked like like a chia heart that just goes straight up. No one really knows what it is. It's just like, huh? I had one of those chia dolls that had just like for the vagina, and the chia seeds would follow the light, so it would just be this like like 12 fucking strings to the window. But yeah, so that pussy, that teen 20s pussy, I had really long hair too, so I was pretty like femme presenting and pretty. I didn't really feel femme, but I had that long hair because I was like, I'm gonna be an actress. You can't be an actor with long hair, but you can be an actress. And so I came to New York, and I was trying to be an actress. You couldn't do it, and I was like, I tried to do sex work because I was trying to be a drug dealer, but New York is such a masculine town, so you couldn't do any of the things I did before. Like, you can't work in a kitchen if you have a vagina. I mean, now you can. It's a very different time, but in the 90s, it was not ideal. And I tried. I didn't want to be the Amelia Earhart of working in a kitchen in New York City at like Pita Cuisine that was on LaGuardia Street in 1994. But so then I decided to do sex work, but again, I was terrible at it, and I was just like, this isn't bad. So then moving forward, I was dating a lot of femmes, and at the time they didn't go down on butches, so I didn't know how pretty my pussy was, really. I just knew the few times that someone put their penis inside of it, they were like, God dang, it's good, Jesus. And so I was just like, just leave the money and I gotta go. So then moving forward, I started dating millennials, and they just were like chomping on that shit. They were just, they were like, I'll call you whatever you want. Do you want, they're just a whole different breed of people. Like, they're so worried about everyone. They all have ulcers now because they're always like, are you okay? Am I hurting you? But then they're also sitting in their home just being like, it's unfair! But then on the outside, they're very much like, I really, really care about you. So I guess a humble brag, I'm not a millennial. I'm just some like, I'm some old cooch that's always like, yeah, I was better in the 90s. So I started having sex with millennials, and they started going down on me. And then that's when they were like, oh my God, you have like a Playboy pussy. So I just remember I was sitting there, and it was taking a lot of me just being like, just receive, just receive, just receive. Because when you're a butch, you're always like, how can I help? Like, you don't know how to relax, and someone eating you out, you're always like, does this make me femme? And then it's all this weird internal stuff, and you're just like, I just want to be a normal man, but I hate men, and then you're like, this is what happening when you're trying to get your pussy eaten when you're a butch in the 90s and the early aughts. You're just like, help! Can I just be a horny person, enjoy my partner? No, you can't. No, you're going to carry all the pain from every woman person and person of color and the whole world into your sexual, because that's what lesbians do. They're like, how can I help? I can't even enjoy myself. That's why they stop having sex at a certain point, and then they open up their relationship, but really they're just trying to find themselves. Anyway, I'm getting eaten out by millennials, and they're telling me I got this Playboy pussy. I'm just like, really? Really? It's like a Playboy? I can't believe it. Like, I'm almost mad that I can't see my own cunt. Like, I'm just like, oh God, I can't fucking, I can't. Like, I want to fuck a Playboy pussy. So I'm just kind of mad, Like, almost like there's times I'm just sitting there with a mirror looking at it, beating my own dildo against it. Like, if you weren't mine, I'd bang you hard. Something, it's just really, it was challenging. And then I kept this fucking Playboy pussy, but then I started taking testosterone. And then something happened. I got me a big old hook nose of a clit. Like, just like one that's like popping out of fucking, because I am Irish, man. Even my clit. I remember I had one girlfriend. She was down there doing everything she could. She was like, are you sure they didn't just like cut off your dick? Because this thing is so small. Like, she was trying to be like, I think you're a man. And I was like, I think you're a man and your dick is just the tiniest thing I've ever fucking seen. Like, it was like her way of helping me deal with my gender issues. And I was just like, thanks for the help. Now I'll never come. So I started taking testosterone. And testosterone, as if you've seen in my other shows, you know what it does? It turns you into a stupid ass horny machine. Like, I started just being like, anyone. I don't care how old you are. Yes, I do. I care that, actually, I do care how old you are. I thought I meant like old. Like, I'll take someone 275 years old. They can just jump down on this. I don't want anyone under 28. Just because Saturn return to shit, you're like, I can't. Although, my friend is having sex with like people in their early 20s are saying that they're really fun. And I do remember being fun at that age. But anyway, so moving forward, I don't need, it's fine. I don't know how to be on any social apps anymore. So I got this hook nose of fucking clit. Now I finally got this tiny wee. Now I finally have a normal tiny wee. Real Irish curse kind of guy. And it's still the pinkest little thing ever, although I now have deflated labias, which is very common in trans men because I guess estrogen just keeps those labias plump. Just kind of like a nice big meaty curtain that just like, and the show's about to begin. But now mine are like old Duvetine. It's just kind of stuck to the side. But I still got the fucking prettiest pink pussy in Brooklyn. Thank you, everybody.
Please unmute so you can.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh, can you tag my dad and put that
Go,
on?
Becca.
Holy fucking shit.
Screaming and crying.
Oh yeah, the theater geek joke, Duvetine.
I left my body. I just left my body screaming with recognition.
I know.
Did you also come home to it just a little, Drae?
Who said that?
I know. I was gonna say.
Ariel did. Ariel did.
Around.
Yes, Ariel. Yes, I did.
I see you.
I left and I came back and I was like, feels better.
Now I gotta find a fucking lighter.
Becca, you have this way of like going into this very specific stream of consciousness that is also quite universal in some ways. It's like you're like, I'm gonna tap that.
Bridge things. That's my job. And as being a year of the ox and a dyke from my foundation, I'm always like, no, it's fine. I love it. Just step right over. I just want everyone to connect.
The Irish curse stick.
The Irish curse stick.
I can't.
Every time you go up to a trans guy, just go, boop, got your dick. Unless you're Becca, and it's like, you. Nope.
I can't speak because
don't do that to a trans person. Don't do it. Don't do it unless you got a lover. That's fun.
I can't. It's like I'm jammed. I can't.
Like, are you into that? Is that you know?
What you were also there were so many places that you went. You were Coco from Fame for a second. Did anybody remember?
Yeah.
When she was doing sex work inadvertently, where you're like, this is what I do. I gotta get out of here.
I used to put ads in the back of the New York Press because they were free, and the ads in the Village Voice at the time were like $5 or something, or like to get the call you had to, it was like so bullshit. So but there was a different clientele versus the New York Press versus the
right. You didn't get that fancy Village Voice.
No, I got a lot of them that were like, me and my husband want to tie you up and turn you in, and I also had this long hair, so everyone wanted me to play like oh god, what was her name, Tilda Swinton in Orlando, like I was,
right.
And like literally, I had long hair. People would grab my hair as I walked down the street all the fucking time. Like, just
really?
Oh my god, because it was down to my ass, and they would be like, "Oh my god," and I would be like, "Hi."
I think I knew you when you had long hair, and now you've come full circle because you have long hair again.
Doing again. Well, it's like as you lose it, you're like, "Well, one last time, kid." And then I'm just gonna turn into what's the guy who fucking got Melissa Etheridge's pregnant? That guy, Cassie.
Yes.
Just like, pink head with some orange hair down the side. And I have to find my life partner by that time because it's not gonna be a looks thing.
Yeah, I agree. But you know what? You will woo whoever you're with your stream of consciousness brilliance, because I needed that laugh. That laugh was deep and real. It was just stream of consciousness brilliance, and I loved it. You need a show. You should just go on once a night and talk for half an hour.
Too much for Adult Swim. They've told me that. So I'm the stuff that inspires young people who know how to like filter it, and then they get successful. Like, but I'm not. Old dykes are not what you'll see on TV. Old dykes are the things that are like, I'm the inspiration for young people. No, I don't know.
Hi. Give it up for Becca Blackwell, everybody.
Thank you.
Wait, also, Becca, you have a show that's streaming right now on Wild Project?
Yes, if you liked all this talk about my pussy, you can watch me speak about other people's pussy for 35 minutes. It supports the Wild Project, which is like every other live and venue barely holding on. And so they decided, and there's a bunch of artists actually you can watch. It's not, you don't have to pick my show. There's other artists, and it's $10, and the money goes to the venue and to the artist. So there's like 12 different artists that put their shows up, and they're all very different kinds of artists. So you can pick whatever you want. Wild Project TV.
And it's on now.
Video, yeah.
Okay. And put a link in the chat when you get a chance. And Calvin, do you have any shows coming up that you want to tell us about?
So yeah, this just restarted, but every Friday I do a live socially distanced comedy music show in Prospect Park Northwest. And it's called Disco Tree. So we literally like set up like a staging area. So we have a disco tree with lights and stuff. Nonye's done it before.
It's very fun. I was just gonna mention the lights. Yes.
Yay, I want it. What time does that happen?
So the music goes from 6 to like 7-ish, and then the comedy goes from like 7-ish to like 8:30. And we make Jello shots. So
and then
you get free Jello shots.
That's so fun.
I want to come.
Yes.
Where is the entrance that you're closest to in the park?
So the closest entrance is Garfield Place and Prospect Park West.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
so it's like
everybody,
northwest.
let's go to that.
Yeah.
It's every Friday?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Love it. And how many? It's like an hour show?
So like the music part is like an hour and the comedy part's an hour. So 2
my
hours, Jello shots, have fun.
That's so fun. I want to go to that.
Every Friday, right?
And do you, if you have a link, put it in the chat. And then I'm gonna read some of the brags that people put in the chat, and then we'll take a 3-minute break, and then we'll have our closer. Okay. But before we take our little break, I want to read. I asked people to say their to brag about something in the chat. So I'm gonna go and read some of those to everybody, so we all hear them and cheer them on. If I can find them, hold on. Callie, I made it through my grandmother's funeral yesterday. Oh, I'm sorry. Condolences, sending you love. And thank you for being here. Gabe wrote, I would like to brag about how talented my 4 little brothers are. Gabe would like to brag about his lazy day today. Heather's bragging about her rage. Good idea. Any other? By the way, the shoulder pony, much love for Calvin's shoulder pony. That's it for now, I think, right? Did I get them all? I mean, there's just a lot of stuff about Calvin and Becca, basically. Okay, we're gonna take a 3-minute potty beverage break, and then we'll be back with our closer. Yay!
Congratulations, Ariel.
Oh, where's Ariel's?
3 weeks away from graduating law school.
Yes!
We need good lawyers.
Hey, Ariel, congrats. We love you. Back in 3.
All right.
Hey, are you ready you ready to go on? Is everybody back? Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Are you here? Yes. Whew. Oh, goodness. I'm so excited. All right, let's bring also, I want to say, still thinking, Becca, about your pretty pussy for some reason. Someone on an dating app told me I was pretty, and that always blows my mind.
I mean, Drae still got it.
Pretty. It might have been the fact that I had a bow in my hair, but just kidding. All right, I'm gonna bring on, if everybody's back in the Zoom room. I'm going to bring on our final storyteller, and I'm very excited to have her here. And I'm going to read her little bio. Dun, 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 in just 1 second. And by the way, I love your pictures that you have, or your picture.
Oh.
So lovely and bright and energetic. All right. Nonye Brown-West is a Nigerian-American comedian and writer. She's been featured in the Boston Globe's Rise column as a comic to watch, NPR, PBS, ABC, Sway in the Morning, and the New York Comedy Festival. Nonye has 2 animated web series, Fairytales with Nonye and Gayby Jesus, which, ooh, I'm excited for that, coming in 2021. And she has her Venmo, which you can put, you can put those in the chat if you like, because it's like Nonye at Nonye Brown-West is the Venmo. Cash App is money none fizzle, and PayPal is nonyebrownwest@gmail.com. You can put those in the chat. I welcome you to it. Everyone can who needs to. Let's give it up, everybody, for Nonye Brown-West. Yay!
Wait, can I just say I had no idea that the payment information was gonna be part of the bio? I had no idea.
Oh, I thought because you put it in there. I'm sorry. You know what? I thought it was part of it, and I was like,
You know what?
Good.
You know what? In this day and age, yes, we need that in there.
Keep it.
Honestly,
That's right.
I'm gonna add it to all my bio.
I think you should.
You start reading it, I was like, you know what? Yes. It's like absolutely fine with me. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I used to have a bragging problem. I had a bragging problem, and I recently had to get over it. I got over it recently because every time I bragged, something bad would happen. It was just like a precursor to something going awful almost every time. There's some times where it worked out in my favor. Other times, if I had not bragged, no one would have even been paying attention to me, and I could have skirted through and it would have been fine. Okay, so brag number 1 that has gone bad for me is I used to brag about my skin. I used to be like, oh, my skin is so lovely. I look younger than I am. All these things. And yes, all the time. I used to brag about that. And then boom, quarantine. Eczema goes wild. Now the backs of my hands and my nipples look like crumpled up eggshells, okay? And that's all the time. I had to start wearing retinol, okay? And I used to be the one being like, oh my God, I look younger than I am. It's so nice. My skin is so moist. And now, no. I honestly thought of doing an OnlyFans, but I can't now because, as I said, full body ash. It's just no one, I don't know if that's a little kink that somebody has. If it is, put it in the comments, because I've never heard of anybody having a crumpled up eggshell, grayscale skin fetish. If you do, please let me know, because maybe I will start that OnlyFans, because they still have not forgiven student loan debt and I need that. Okay, so please, yes, please find it. Please find that kink on the internet for me so I can get into that community. Okay, so I tend to brag a lot when I'm trying to flirt with people too. So that's something that I'm trying to get over. I have a really, really bad bragging while flirting issue. I am married now, but like by some miracle, to be honest, I don't know. I was always the most awkward, and I'm bisexual. So I was just not doing well with the women or the men. It was just a whole thing of just, I would immediately start to brag about some nonsense, usually my sisters, because I had nothing going on worth bragging about. And I think that's a symptom of being a Nigerian person, because Nigerian people, that's just the way you talk about your family. You just always brag about your family when you're trying to like talk about yourself. So I'd always go ahead and like just brag about how my sisters were rich and they went to Ivy League schools. And then people would ask me what I was doing, and I'd realize, oh, right, nothing. Okay. oh, I'm a failure. Whoops, maybe I should have not brought up my sisters who you could compare. Maybe I should have, uh-oh. Oh, someone said add that to your OnlyFans bio. I will. You know, if I do end up making an OnlyFans, I'm gonna brag on my sisters first and foremost, and then I'm gonna talk about how this is a OnlyFans for people with crumpled up eggshell skin and only us. Okay, that's what I'll brag about. My bragging has gotten out of control though, and that's why I don't do it anymore. And every time I would brag about something, I feel like the powers that be, like I don't know what I believe in, to be honest. I don't know if I believe in God or whatever, but the powers that be, something would always make things go poorly for me every time I bragged. And one time professionally, I remember doing that. I used to have a Will Smith tribute show. It was a comedy show where I was Will Smith and I was also Carlton. And I cast out the Aunt Vivs and all that stuff. And there would be comedians that would come up and I'd get the best comedians from around the country to do this. And it happened at the Harvard Repertory Theater, right? And I was on year 2 of Will Smith, the comedy variety show. That's what it was called. And I had gotten attention from someone in casting. Actually, she was the lead casting director for HBO at the time. And she was very interested in me. And she decided to come to the show. And she told me ahead of time. She told the producers that I was working with ahead of time that she was going to come to the show. So of course, I use that as a way to try and get more people in the seats. I was like, you know, HBO is coming to this one, so you might want to come. Like, oh, you remember last year? It was so fun. Guess what? HBO is coming to this one. Uh-oh, you better come. Your girl's coming up in the world. And I use that as an excuse to try and get bodies in the seats. But as we all know, the people in the industry, people who are performers, not everyone is excited for you in life. So you got to keep things close to the chest. You always have to keep things close to the chest. You can't tell everything to everybody. Not as a comedian, not as an actor, nothing. So it kind of backfired. It was at half capacity. It was a 200-seat theater, 250-seat theater. It was at half capacity. I got 100 bodies in there. Because I had done so well the year before, the venue raised the price on me. So I came up negative for the entire show. I was so nervous trying to get people to come to the show that I didn't pay attention to my general look. Yes, I did look like Will Smith. I did the full drag and I looked like him, but my hair, I did not work on my hair. My hair was failing throughout the night. I should have used, we heard about Gorilla Glue Girl. I should have done something like that, just spikes in the hair or something. Throughout the night, my Will Smith hair just kept falling. And in the pictures, I look, crazy. I look crazy. I do. It's just, the whole thing was a mess. And then I found out afterwards, I emailed the woman from HBO. I just like, this is definitely like emailing somebody fingernails that I have right now. And I emailed her and I was just like, oh, I hope you enjoyed the show. It was a little rushed and things didn't go that well. I hope that you still enjoyed what I presented to you. All the comedians crushed, everything was funny. So I thought I'd maybe hear back. She did not answer my email. And then I found out later that I was up for Black Lady Sketch Show. And I didn't get it because I had to brag and I did not prepare for worst case scenarios. I had no safety net at all. It was crazy. So that's a sad story kind of. I'm gonna do funny ones now because that one was actually a little sad. I started to say, I'm like, oh, that was actually no, that was not good that happened to me. So a lot of my bragging throughout my childhood was about my abilities as an active child, right? I was always like, oh, I'm very good at that sport. I'm great at tennis. I swim really well. And my sisters always outshined me. They are always better at everything, really. So we all had tennis lessons. We all had swimming lessons when we were kids. And I was the only one that took 4 years of swimming lessons and could barely doggy paddle. I probably gained like 16 pounds as a child, but not like the good weight, like of just growing. Literally 5 years old, all of a sudden 16 pounds heavier because my swim teacher would give me Tootsie Pops she gave me like a huge thing of Tootsie products every time I came for a lesson because she thought I was cute. So instead of teaching me like she taught my sisters, she just fattened me up. I was a little Augustus Gloop in the swimming pool. So I was really good at doing like the dead man float because I was all fat. I was a very porky child. It was incredible. All right. So years later, we moved to a place called Marshfield, Massachusetts. You can visit if you want, you don't have to. And we had a pool, right? We had a pool for once in our family. It was great because years before that, we were impoverished, right? We were honestly living in poverty. And again, that's something that happened to me and not my sister somehow. Like I'll talk about childhood and I'll be like, oh, do you remember the year that I slept on a weenie pad on the floor? And my sisters will be like, oh, we always had a bed. When was that? I'm like, what? You don't remember when your sister slept on a wee pad? Okay, great. So I grew up as a second class citizen in my own family, but we had a pool and my sisters are going off to college. So I was going to be the one to enjoy it with my little brother and they weren't going to be around. And I used to swim in that pool every day. I was a huge weirdo. So I just sit on the bottom of the pool and just like hold my breath. My parents were concerned. They were concerned. It was probably a cry for help looking back. I think it might've been. But people in my school, they all knew that I had a pool. And so I was always out, like trying to go, like Marshfield is a beach town, right? So anytime people wanted to go to the beaches or to the bridge to jump off the bridge, there were like 3 bridges that people would jump off. I was like, I'm gonna go, let's go to the rope swing, I'll go. And one day we went to the North River, which is a dark water river. And actually the movie Jaws was based on something that happened in the North River, right? And I knew that because everybody that grows up in Marshfield knows that. We're like, oh yeah, the movie Jaws was based on our town. Ha, tee-hee, he ate children. So we went to the North River and there was a rope swing there. And I was very excited. I was like, oh, I love rope swings. Like, but really I'd never been on one, but I was like, oh, I love them in my head. I love the theory of them. Let's go on them. So it was my turn to go on the rope swing. I was with 4 of my friends and I jumped off the rope swing, landed in the water. To my surprise, the water was dark. It looked dark from the shore, but it was like dark. I opened my eyes in the water. It was dark. And I started to have a panic attack. I started to have a panic attack in the North River. So I was able to swim to the shore because when you're panicking and you do know how to swim a little bit, you will naturally just be like, help, and go to the shore. But all they saw was me have a panic attack. They're like, oh my God, this woman does not know how to swim. And they said that immediately. I was like, no, I do know how to swim. Like I have a pool. And then I started thinking it was a racial thing because like 3 of them were white. I was like, ooh, okay. So I didn't really hang out with them that much after that. But I was like, no, I do know how to swim. What are you talking about? I'm a very good swimmer. So years later, I still had this bragging problem that I always do when I was flirting or anything. And I meet my now husband and his family was, I was very nervous around them because I could tell that I was like the first Black person they really even interacted with. So it was hard. It was hard off the bat. He turned out normal somehow, but his family, race relations were an issue. So they really, really tried hard to learn about me. And I tried hard to engage with them at first. Yeah, I mean, they're from Connecticut. It's just, I feel like that's, that is definitely the worst type of white. No offense, because I know some of you are from there. But it's like being married to the villain from an 80s movie. I digress. It really is. Blaine, that's him. All right. It's just Pretty in Pink. Yes, he is Steph and Blaine in one, and his family is as well. It's just not, it wasn't a very welcoming situation for me. So they took me on a Christmas trip like 3-4 years, actually, we've been married for 5 years. So this was like 6 years ago. They took me on a Christmas trip. And it was all right. We went to Belize and it was nice. And I immediately tried to speak to the locals because they looked like me. And I just wanted to feel comfortable. So I started to talk to the locals. I learned about the history of Belize, which is they were colonized by everybody, right? Like the British were there, the French were there, the Spanish were there. So depending on who you talk to, they'll tell you what the national language is, and everybody says a different language. They'll say French, they'll say Spanish, English. I don't know, Wikipedia says all sorts of things too. So I spent a lot of time just trying to talk to locals because I got on a flight after the rest of the family. I had to work, and I got on the flight later, and I, was the first day it snowed in Massachusetts that day. So I had to do a layover overnight in Atlanta, and then I got there late. So I was by myself in the airport, just chatting up. On the way to meet the family, they treated me very rudely in the small airport. I don't know why. I don't know what it was. I probably looked easy to just disregard. I don't know. I'm not very assertive when I should be. I call it lazy, or just like not competitive enough when I need to be. Like other families were like, help, I need help. I need a charter flight, help me. And I was just like, oh, what is this? I'm just gonna go, oh, I don't know what to do. I'm just gonna sit over here until somebody talks to me. So it took me a while. When I finally got on a flight, it was a little Cessna, and I was familiar with little Cessnas, and I know that they're not supposed to go above a certain altitude, right? So tell me why we were above the clouds. I was frightened, okay? I thought I was gonna die on the way to meet the family. We were in the Cessna, and on top of that, the pilot was reading a book while he was driving the plane. What is that? What you got? Piloting the plane. He's driving the plane while reading a book. And I was just like, this is it. I'm about to die on the way to this get out vacation. I was very, very scared, right? So I get to the get out vacation finally. I was just happy to be alive. And I was like, you know what? I was afraid of being with the family, but now I'm just like, this is great. I'm alive and everything's gonna be okay. So the first day there, they had a huge itinerary. They're a family that plans activities. Ooh, yes, they plan activities. Most of the activities involved getting drunk, so I was with it. I was like, yes, let's get drunk. Y'all make me nervous. Give me that liquor, all right? So we were immediately drinking. The next day, we were going snorkeling, but it was like off the coast. It was gonna be like deep sea snorkeling. There are some scuba people that were gonna come with us. It was very exciting. And of course, I was already bragging, like, oh, I grew up in a beach town. Like, I got this. Like, oh, those little flippers, that makes it so easy. Like, oh yeah, I swim in the ocean. Who doesn't swim in the ocean? I swim in the ocean, right? And I was just bragging the whole way there, just trying to connect with this family. Ooh, it didn't help too. Both my husband's sister is very good looking. And so that's like another reason I think I was bragging a little bit. I hope none of them are in here, but surprise. I mean, they know. I used to have a joke about how I found one of his sisters really attractive. I stopped telling it because she heard me do it once and she was disgusted. So I stopped telling the joke. I was like, oh, she doesn't like it? All right. She doesn't like being mentioned. So all right. So we got to the island. It was a whole day thing. By noon, we were on the island. And the instructor, there was a group of us. Everybody there was white. Belize is one of those countries where white people go there. They love to go there and just be white visiting a country that is not white. Okay. So I was like the only Black person in this whole group of people snorkeling. And I was also the only one who was asked if I needed a life vest. Yeah, so that's racism abroad, and it follows you. And the instructors, they were all Black as well, but they just looked at me and they're like, oh, Black American, she doesn't know what she's doing, all right? And I was very offended because we all know I like to brag about the fact that I know how to swim. I could sit in the bottom. I could sit down there for like 30 minutes without air. That's exaggeration. That's an exaggeration again. I'm bragging again. I gotta stop. So I looked the instructor in the face. I was very offended. I was like, excuse me, sir. I know how to swim. I grew up with a pool, and that pool was shaped like a cartoon duck, swag, all right? So I got into the water, and I started to have a little bit of trouble. I did. And at first I was like, oh no, I'm keeping up with everybody else. We got maybe 20 feet out, and I was like, all right, I'm keeping up with everybody else. The instructor started to pay a lot of attention to me, and I was right next to the instructor. He started to pay a lot of attention to me. And then finally he's just like, hey, there's fire coral right underneath you, and you're getting real close to the fire coral. And I was just like, I got this, I'm fine. And then I looked down and there was a huge bush of fire coral right underneath me. And I started to panic. And all of a sudden, my swimming just failed. Like my body just like didn't even know what to do, because we were so far away from the shore at this point, when I realized like, oh my God, if I touch the fire coral and my legs start to burn, I didn't know what was going to happen to me if I touched the fire coral, first of all, because they really should just like let you touch it, because it's nothing. It doesn't really feel like anything. It's fine. But in my mind, I was like, I'm going to go paralyzed if I touch the fire coral. I'm not going to be able to swim back to shore. And we're very far out. So I started to panic. So he had brought like 2 life vests with him, because I refused the life vest. And he gave me one of the life vests, because he was like, okay, now she's having a panic attack. See what happens when Black people are in water? And I was so mad. So I was very, very mad. So he gave me the life vest. I put it on. And that was mistake number 2, I gotta say, because I don't know if anyone here has ever swam in a life vest. It's difficult. And I didn't know that, because I had never used a life vest in my life before. I had never done it. So I put it on, and all of a sudden I couldn't swim the way I normally do. I couldn't swim flat. Like my body was just like this. And it didn't fit me that well. So it was like, the vest was right underneath my nose, and I started to like bobble, and I started to sink even more than I was before. So the panic attack just grew. My panic attack grew, and I was just like, help, I need help, I'm drowning in a life vest, I didn't even know this was possible, help me. And my arms up flailing. I was panicking. It was very, very bad. My now husband was next to me, and he was like, all right, let me take you back to shore. So he just grabbed my life vest and just started dragging me back to shore. He just started dragging me back to shore. And I felt like Rose in Titanic. But instead of floating on the door, I was floating on my boyfriend, just, just trying to get back to shore. We get back to shore, I take off the life vest, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go back out without the pressure of racial tension. And I went back out by myself. And I did amazing by myself. I made friends with fish. I had a whole school of fish around me. They were those little cute bumblebee fish, and we were chilling, and it was amazing. Okay. And I realize that story is a little sad. So I'm just going to end with this. I also bragged about my vaccine and how I did not have any side effects. I didn't have any side effects off the second shot. But I bragged too early, and I drank some wine too early, okay? I drank wine 8 hours after my shot, 12 hours after my shot. This is what happened to me, and I just need to show you real quick, and this is how I'll go. I just need to show you what happened to me. It's crazy. Okay, so first the shot goes into my arm, and I'm chilling. It's giving directions to the rest of my cells, right? And then my cells are like, yeah, bet we get it. So they line up. This is my DNA lining up. They're like, yeah, mRNA, tell us what else to do. How do we make those proteins? The mRNA is like, yes, this is how you make the proteins. Yes, okay, right. And then my cells, they start to replicate. They're like, yeah, okay, we'll make this stuff. We'll make it. Look at us go. Yeah. And all the while, what am I doing? I'm feeling crazy. I'm like shivering to death. I'm not being able to breathe. That's me in real life, right? But yes, this is me. I'm like, no, ma'am. All right. And then my cells just go crazy with it. All right. Because when you're dehydrated, you can feel your cells just look at them go. Look at them go. This is crazy. They're just like, and then meanwhile, I'm like, help. So drink some water and some Pedialyte after your vaccine. Don't be like me, and don't brag about it 8 hours later, because guess what? 13 hours later, you could be feeling like death. All right. So I've been Nonye. Thank you very, very much.
I think that you should brag that you survived that vacation. Really, hats off to you.
Oh my God. It's crazy because you don't realize when you're traveling, because like when I travel normally, I will go to other like Black areas. Like I'll go to, sometimes I'll go to like a Italy or whatnot, but I will go to Africa, I'll go to Nigeria, see my family. So I didn't realize how much racism follows you abroad. It's crazy how much it follows you. Yeah.
I can imagine.
Yes, it's just everywhere around you.
Great story. Amazing support. We love you.
Thank you.
Some takeaways. You had a cartoon duck pool.
I did.
Major swag brag.
Yep,
Love
especially
that.
after sleeping on a wee pad for like 2 years
That was
of my life.
another takeaway that you slept when you were like, do you remember when I slept on that wee bed? And they're like, we had beds, honey. What are you talking about?
I'm always a second class citizen, always.
Are you the youngest?
I'm the youngest girl, and then there's a boy that's way younger than the rest of us. So yeah, like
different story.
Completely different story. It's basically he's an only child. Yeah.
And you said also another great takeaway was Connecticut has the worst whites.
It does. And I feel most people agree, and I apologize. I know there's some Connecticut whites in the audience, but some of the worst whites that you find in America are some. I'm not saying all, some Connecticut.
I believe you. Yeah. It's like one of the richest states too, right?
Yeah, like New Jersey, Connecticut, and then I think Maryland are like the 3 richest. They like take turns.
Yeah. They take turns just sharing the wealth with each other, but not everybody else.
Exactly.
Oh, wow. And tell us about your next show.
My next show is, and I hope that a lot of you that live in New York can come. It's at the Stand in the main room on May 11th, which is a Tuesday, but it's an early show. It's at 7, and it's
in real life. It's in
real life.
Yeah.
But everyone I booked was vaccinated, and like they have pretty strict rules there. I'm vaccinated as well, as we saw. I have Emma Willman, Jay Jordan. It's mostly POC and a mostly queer lineup. So and it's called Sprung. Yeah. Hope you guys.
Sprung, I love it.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
find
gonna
it on
be
my
like
website.
a big fancy show. It sounds like.
I hope so. I'm gonna actually put my website in the thingy so people can.
Yeah, put it in there. Put whatever you need in, any information that we want in here, and then performers, put your handle, your Instagram or your social media handles in there. And if also, I want to add, if you did not donate or you'd like to donate more, you can do what's the Venmo, Greg? At BGSQD. It's in the chat. That's
correct. At BGSQD.
And you just write, if you want to donate to Tell, you just write for Tell, and it will go. We split it among the artists, and we give 15% to the bookstore. So if you didn't pay admission and you want to, or you did maybe, and you want to add some more, it goes right to us in the bookstore. So, and the next show is next month on the 3rd Saturday, and I need to figure out what the date is for that. The 3rd Saturday in May, which is May 15th. That's also tax day.
Oh yeah, I already did mine.
Oh, wow, you're on it. That's a brag.
I know, that's a brag. I should have talked about it.
Yeah. By the way, that was one of the best uses of Zoom comedy when you did that video that I've seen.
Oh,
that was amazing. Give it up for all our storytellers, everybody.
Yes.
Calvin, Becca, Nonye.
Yeah.
Your stories forever. Yay. And you can follow, it was an amazing night. Who said that?
I did. Maria.
Thank you, Maria. Maria, one of our storytellers who's been on here before.
Hi, Maria.
Tonight was such a great gathering. Like, it's been so life-giving to have everyone in this space, and all the storytellers were fucking next level.
Good.
So thanks, guys.
Thank you guys.
So good.
Yay.
It really was a wonderful night. It's hard to really tell sometimes on Zoom, but it really was an amazing little quilt of storytelling and storytelling styles, and felt good. Feel good about it. Brag about it, please. And other people brag about the fact that you were at this show. And then you can follow us on Instagram. It's Tell Queers with a Z at the end. Also at BGSQD, and I'm at Draebiz, DRAEBIZ. And you can see all of the bios and pictures of the storytellers from tonight on there. And also, this is going to be on YouTube soon, probably in a week or something. And I think
Maybe
that's
tomorrow.
it. Woo!
If I get it together.
Ooh, I love it.
I'll send y'all links.
Anything else, Greg?
No, just check out our website for upcoming events. Like I said, those Reclaim Pride coalition events are coming up. Some great panel discussions reminding us why we march. So yeah, check those out.
Yay. If anybody has anything to add, now's your chance. Otherwise, we're gonna zoom out of here.
Speak your mind.
Oh, we're lovely.
Yay, you were
Have
amazing.
you ever been told that you're the Michelle of your sisters?
I'm the Michelle. Yes, I just saw that you wrote that. I am the Michelle. I'm the Michelle.
Aw.
Actually, no, I'm the Latoya and Latavia because they rather not even have me in the fair.
Yes.
Girl, you're the Farrah, girl. You're the Farrah. They send back your own bags. You can take this flight. That's what happened.
And it translates so weird now because like now they're just proud of everything I do because like, oh, oh, she's trying.
Yay.
Yeah.
And Becca, we'll be waiting for that WAP TikTok.
I mean, I totally taken myself totally off social media, and now I'm like, I am a dyke from the '90s that's got a mustache.
You gotta get that pretty pussy back on there.
Just YouTube.
I feel like I'm coming back to circle and be like, it's she again, you know. Doesn't you? I don't know. It's been good, but I also feel like I have no idea what the fuck's going on, and it's wonderful. But it's like I make stuff, and I'm actually thinking about stuff, and I'm really into nature more and listening. But it's a very weird thing as an artist to be like, you know, I've sent emails out to people about things now. That's if you check this out. But I don't post or anything anymore. I haven't shut down all the way because I have to have it for stupid shit to be actually even like listening to Spotify or some bullshit. It's weird. Anyway.
Real.
Sorry.
Where's Horsey? Because here's Memphis.
Memphis is still there.
Always in the crack.
Aww.
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 Nestles into any crack he can find, any V space in the house. You know?
We all love crack.
And on that note.
All right.
Go get some crack.
Get high, everybody. It's people.
Thank you.
Love you, man.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, love.
Bye, everybody.
Miss you guys. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, guys.